In a world where leaders fight to conquer nations, only a few have the courage to conquer themselves. This is the story of King Edward, a man who had everything: power, money, respect, but still lost the most important battle, the one inside his own heart. A story that will remind you, winning over others makes you powerful, but winning over yourself makes you legendary. Once upon a time, in the land of New Britain, there lived a mighty ruler, King Edward III. He was brave, intelligent, and undefeated in wars. His castle touched the clouds, his soldiers guarded every inch of his empire, and people feared even to look into his eyes. But behind that shining crown there was a flaw: pride. Edward believed he was always right. No one dared to correct him. He punished anyone who questioned his word. He had conquered lands, but not his ego. One cold morning, a monk appeared at the palace gate. He looked poor, wearing old robes, holding a wooden staff. The guards tried to stop him, but he said calmly, "I have come to meet the king who rules others, but not himself." The guards were shocked. Still, the king ordered, "Bring him in." The monk bowed slightly and said, "Your Majesty, you have defeated thousands in battle, but have you ever tried to defeat your anger, your greed, your pride?" The king laughed. "Defeat myself? I am already the greatest." The monk smiled. "Then prove it. I challenge you. Control your mind for just 3 days, and you'll be a king forever. Fail, and your crown means nothing." The king accepted with confidence. He didn't know this challenge would change his life forever. The next morning, one of his servants accidentally spilled wine on the king's royal robe. The court froze. Everyone knew that servant was a dead man. Edward's hand went to his sword, his eyes burning with rage. But suddenly, the monk's words echoed in his mind. The man who controls his anger controls his world. He stopped, took a deep breath, and said, "It's okay, clean it up." The hall went silent. For the first time, the king had defeated not an enemy, but his own anger. That night he couldn't sleep. He whispered to himself, "Maybe true power isn't about making others fear you, but about making yourself calm when the world tests you." The next day, a rich merchant came with an offer. "Your Majesty," he said, "I found diamonds in the northern mountains. Let me mine them. Half the profit will be yours." The king's eyes sparkled. Half the profit meant unimaginable wealth. But then a thought struck him. What will this greed cost my people? The land, the trees, the rivers. He stood up and said, "No deal. I don't need more gold. My people's peace is worth more." The merchant left disappointed, but the king felt lighter, as if he had dropped a huge weight off his heart. Greed blinds the wise, he thought, but contentment makes a king divine. On the third day, the monk returned. He smiled and said, "Majesty, tell me, what have you learned?" The king bowed his head. "I learned that my biggest enemy was never another kingdom. It was my own pride." The monk placed his hand on Edward's crown. "You have passed, my son. Today you are not just a ruler of land. You are the ruler of your soul." Tears filled the king's eyes. He had finally understood the meaning of being a true king. From that day, King Edward ruled differently. He listened more, spoke less. He forgave mistakes, encouraged truth, and shared his wealth with the poor. The people said, "Our king no longer rules with fear. He rules with wisdom and heart." And in history, King Edward was remembered not for the wars he fought, but for the battle he won within himself. Anger destroys, patience builds. Greed traps, contentment frees. Pride blinds, humility enlightens. True greatness isn't about having a crown. It's about having control over your emotions. When you win over yourself, you never lose again.